Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Is there any disturbance in my voice like yesterday?
No, sir.
Okay. So let us start. So welcome to the lecture number 5 for the course Software Quality and Reliability. In yesterday lecture with brief details of the different software development methodology including waterfall model and other model like prototype model, spiral models, object-oriented model. So we recapped all those things in brief way. Then we learned about how to remove defects in different phases and how to estimate the cost for removing those defects. Today we will learn another important steps associated with this quality assurance, which is called reviews. So this is the outline for today's session. Review definitions. First we'll know what is review, then review objective for which we do review, what is the purpose or objective of the review, then what type of reviews are there with their details. Like we'll learn the details of formal design reviews, then details of peer reviews, and we'll have some knowledge of expert opinions as well. So let us go one by one. So according to IEEE definition, a process or meeting during which a work product or set of work products is presented to project personnel, managers, users, customers, or other interested peers for comment or approval. So it is either done for comment, reviewers comment, expert comment, or for approval. And this is generally a meeting or a process through which we can have feedback from expert or the user groups or the customer groups to modify our proposal, modify our uh, or rectify errors and all these things. So this is basically a meeting where different stakeholders present and state their opinions to improve the quality of the product. So there are two set of objectives for this review. One is direct objectives and another set of objective is classified into indirect objectives. Direct objectives are generally those objectives which help you to develop directly the project or the product you are dealing with. Whereas the indirect objective are those objectives who may not directly improve your current project, but it may help you to gather some knowledge to improve the future project. So the objectives of the direct or the direct objectives of the review are listed here. To locate, sorry, to detect analysis and design errors as well as subjects where corrections, changes, and completions are required with respect to the original specification and approved changes. Second objective is to identify new risk likely to affect completion of the project. The third objective is to locate deviations from templates and style, procedures, and conventions. So correction of this deviation is expected to contribute to approve communication and coordination resulting from a greater uniformity of these methods and documentation style. And the fourth objective is to approve the analysis or design product. Approval allows you or allows the team to continue to the next phase of the development. So if some approval is there, then we can proceed for the next phase. Otherwise, we have to modify or rectify the entire thing again, and again a review will be conducted. And based on this opinion, if in the next meeting they approve it, then we can proceed for the next phases. And the indirect objective are majorly these two. Number one is to provide an informal meeting place for exchange of professional knowledge about development method, tools, and techniques. As many experts are there, so through this meeting, we may have the exchange of professional knowledge and expertise that will help us to develop our future project in a better way. And the second indirect objective is to record analysis and design errors that will serve as a basis for the future corrective actions. The corrective actions are expected to improve the development methods by increasing effectiveness and quality, among other product features. Now we will learn what type of reviews are there. So majorly three types of reviews are there in the literature. One is formal design review. Sometimes it's called formal reviews, or sometimes it is called design reviews or DRs. Then another review technique is there called peer reviews, and sometimes some expert opinions are required. So that can be classified into another category. So let us go one by one. Formal design reviews or formal reviews or design reviews, sometimes or it is acronymed as DRs. So this is mandatory for approval of the design product. Without this approval, the development team cannot continue the next phase of the software development project. Once they approve it, the team approve it, then only we can proceed for the next phase, as I mentioned earlier. And maybe this may be conducted at any development milestone requires completion of an analysis or design document. Note here that this design document does not always associate with the design phase of the software lifecycle model. It may be conducted any phase of the phase of this lifecycle model, where some design document is there, and to rectify that, this review are done. So whenever the document is required specification or an instructional plan. So any plan, any design document, for any plan or for any design document, we can do this review for its further improvement. So some common formal design reviews are like DPR or development plan review, SR software requirement specification review, then PDR primary design review, DDR detailed design review, test plan review. So see here, there's the review may occur in the plan phase, similarly in the design phase, similarly in the testing phase, and similarly in the installation phase as well, and so on. So in any phase, we can have the review to improve the document, design document. Who participate in this process or who reviews? So there are mainly two category of these participants. One is the review leader, consist of one man generally, and a set of 3-4 peoples, that is called the review team. So a team leader is there, and other team members are there. So it is generally categorized in this way: a team leader and the review team. Now, to become a team leader, this following quality should be there in that person. The person should be knowledgeable and experienced in the deploying similar type of project. So that the man may not have knowledge, or he may not be acquainted with the current project, but he has to have some knowledge for the similar type of projects, should have some expertise in the similar type of project. So therefore, the appropriate candidate for this review team leadership may be the manager of the development department, or the chief software engineer, or the leader of another similar project, or the head of the software quality assurance units. So all these people can be play the role of this review leader. And for a small software house, sometimes the quality may not means some the existing employee may not have this quality. So sometimes for this small scale or small scale industries or small software house, external candidates are hired to play this role. And the leader should be a senior person, at least equivalent to the project leader, or higher than that level, and should have a good relationship with the project leader and his team. Here, you may note two things. One is project leader, and another is the review leader. These two persons are different. Project leader means the leader who is leading this project, that particular project, that is within the organization and within the team of within the development team. But this review leader is generally outside the development team. So whatever, this review leader should have a good relationship with this project leader and his team, and should not be from the project team, as I have already mentioned that this review leader should not be same as this project leader. The review leader is different from this project leader. But she or he should have the expertise of the similar type of project. Then this review team. The review team should be selected from among the senior members of the project team, together with the appropriate senior professionals assigned to other project and departments, customer user representatives, and in some cases software development consultants, which are generally hired from outside the organization. So it is desirable for non-project staff to make up the majority of the review team. It is always recommended that the review team should be from outside the development team. And the review team should consist of maximum 3 to 5 members, but not more than that. This is because an excessively large team leads to create coordination problems, or sometimes they waste review session time and decrease the level of participation based on the natural tendency, human tendency, to assume that other may have read the design document, so I'll not read. So it is always recommended that to make a small team of 3 to 5 members maximum. Now, preparation for this design review. So this is before the session, before the actual meeting. So before the actual meeting, what the different player or different stakeholders do, like there are three types of or three categories of the personnel who are engaged with this review process. Like as mentioned earlier, the one is review leader, another is a set of expertise, that is the review team, and third is the development team itself. So all they participate in the meeting. So before meeting, what they do, the review leader generally appoint the team members. So review leader take the initiative to appoint the team members who will be included in this review team. So he or she decide the team members. Then he schedule the review session or meeting when all the document will be reviewed and discussed. So session is scheduled by the leader, and then the leader also distributes the design documents among the team members, maybe hard copy, maybe electronic file, and other documents, and so on, so that they can go through it before attending the review session, where they can comment on those. So a well preparation before this actual session is required. Then review team operation, team preparation. So the review the design document or a portion of it and list their comment, as I mentioned earlier. So the team when the leader distribute the design document among the team members, they go through it and list their comments. Sometime in case of why I have underlined is this is because sometime if the document is too large for a large scale project, then the leader may distribute a part of the entire document, not the full document to everyone. So say for example, part 1 is given to team member 1, part 2 is given team member 2, part 3 is given to team member 3, and so on. So instead of going through the entire document, then they go through this particular portion which is assigned to him or her, and then list their comments for that particular portion. And this development team preparation, a short presentation of the design document focusing on the main professional issues awaiting approval. So for those important component which required the approval, focusing on that, the development team, the software development team, make a short presentation, assuming that the review team members have already read or gone through the design document properly. So here the development team do not make a presentation to describe their entire project, their outcome, means output, input, and all the details. Here the main focus should be the highlight, means emphasizing or highlighting the portion where the approval is required to proceed further. Then design review session, that is during the meeting. So now we have we have some idea about what is done in before the meeting. Now let us know what is done in the meeting, during the meeting hour or during the meeting session. So a short presentation of the design document, as I already mentioned, so which is done by this development team. So one of the representative from the development team is there. So he or she present the design document and comments made by the members of the review team. Then the review team comments, So they sometimes they comments in real time. Sometimes they come with a document like as they have the document already and they have time to go through that. So they can show their list of comments. Otherwise, they can also have some additional comment in real time. Then verification and validation, in which each of these comments is discussed to determine the required action. So then some discussion is going on whether these comments are serious or not, whether these comments should be incorporated to correct the design documents or not, or some additional changes are required to correct the document or not. So all these things are discussed that the project team has to perform. So a list or a rectified list is prepared for this project team. And then decision about the design product document which determines the project progress. So it then next comes to the decision whether the current document is fully approved, or it is partially approved, or it is denied approval. When it is fully approved, no correction is required. So the development team, the project development team go for the next phase, they proceed for the next phase. If it is partially approved, means some corrections are required, then it is partially approved, and the team members are asked that they should done, and then after re-preparing it, this partial approved product is finally approved. And in worst case, denial of approval is there when the document is not proper at all. Then they are asked to the team member, the project team members are asked to prepare it again. Another session, another meeting is conducted, and then based on the review, further decision is taken whether should be fully approved or partially approved, or again go for another revision. So now post review activities means what are done after the meeting. So before meeting some activities are there, during meeting some activities are there, and now what is done after the meeting. So after the meeting, the design review report is generated. In this report, these things are there. So this report consists a summary of the review decisions, the decisions about continuation of the project, whether this project should be continued, or a revision is there to proceed to the next phases, and a full list of the required action, correction, changes, addition that project team has to perform to proceed further, and the names of the review team members assigned to follow performance of the correction. So which reviews are done by which member, and means role of the each members is also included in this report. And a follow-up process is also very important to determine whether each action item has been satisfactorily accomplished as as a condition for the allowing the project to continue to the next phase. Generally, it is done by the team leader. So he observe whether all the corrections are done properly or not. So if you summarize the entire design review process, we may notice that there are three types of uh, participants who take part in this entire review process. First is this development team, the software development team, the review leader, and review the review team. Now I am repeating once again, this review team and the development team are entirely different. Development team means who are developing the software project, and review team means who are reviewing the current document, current specification, for example. And there is a leader who coordinate all these things. So initially, the team leader appoint appoint the team leaders, then schedule the review meeting, and prepare the agenda. So what topics should be discussed, which thing should be reviewed first, and all these things. Then after that, based on the comments of this review team, so as we have seen that it sorry, so this is this is done before the meeting. So they list they make a list of their comments, and this development team prepare a presentation, and in this formal review session all these are examined in details. As and we have seen that this document or this report may either be fully approved or partially approved or denied, so no approval. So if it is fully approved, then no issue, it carry on to the next phase of the project member or the development team uh, go for the next phase. If it is partially approved, so some major corrections are required, then some parts are approved, some parts go for this next phase, and for some parts some parts some corrections are required. So this is reviewed again, and a follow-up report is prepared. And if the team leader satisfies, then it goes for this next phase. So this is the entire process of this design review in a pictorial form. Now coming to the second type of review, which is called peer reviews. So two types of peer reviews are there. One is called inspection and another is called walkthrough. So inspection are generally very formal, rigorous, and in-depth analysis of this group review. Whereas walkthrough is informal meeting or presentation by author to get feedback, instant feedback from the for the improvement. So generally in walkthrough, the author itself, the author himself or herself, who prepared the design document, present informally to his peers and colleagues, or sometimes to his leaders, and get an informal feedback to improve the quality of the document. Whereas in inspection, it is formal. It is done step by step. So in this picture, you can see the difference between this inspection and walkthrough. So here the name of the different participants are different. Here some of them are same and some of them different. I'll come to that. Let us consider the process. So in case of inspection, as I mentioned earlier, that it is more formal than this walkthrough. So some organizational preparations are required, like in case of this formal review. Then a overview meeting is conducted, and a thorough review of the document is done, and then in inspection section or in the meeting, those are discussed, and some suggestions are made to correct for reworking, and a follow-up correction is also there. But here in this case, we can see that organization preparation is there, but a brief overview reading is there, which is done by the author itself, and a walkthrough session, they informally get the feedback to improve the document. Now let us see what are the participants of this peer review. So review leader in inspection method it is called moderator, and in walkthrough method it is called coordinator. So both are same, they are the review leader, but for the inspection the leader is known as moderator, and in case of walkthrough the leader is known as coordinator. So they are generally the expert from outside the project team, not from the inside the development team or project team. They are generally outside the project team, maybe within the industry, but not from that particular project. The author who prepare the documents are called author, and specialized professionals are required. A team of professionals are there. So in case of inspection, the team members include a designer who plays the analysis of the system, and a coder who implemented the particular part of the software, and a tester is also included. So all these are from inside the project team, inside the development team. Whereas in case of this formal review or design review, these members were hired from outside the project team. But here the these participants are from the project team itself. That's why it is called peer review. And in case of walkthrough, a standard enforcer is there who take care of the standard of the software standardization, and all these are taken care of by this standard enforcer. And a maintenance expert is also included in the team, and a user representative is also included in the team. So the participants are little bit different in case of inspection from that of in case of walkthrough. Then preparation for a session. This is again before the meeting. So in this case, the review leader or which is a moderator in case of inspection, and coordinator in case of walkthrough. So the review leader decide the section to be reviewed. It may not be the always the case that that the entire document is reviewed. Sometimes a portion is reviewed based on the priority and time constraint and other things. So whether which part of the document is required to be reviewed. So whether it is the most critical one or the most complex one, or most error prone on, so it should be decided first. So the review leader decide that in this preparation phase, means before the meeting start. Then he select the team members and presenter, and schedule the sessions and distribute the documents to the team members. And author who have made the document prepare a case of inspection take part in the overall meeting, and read the document section to be reviewed and list their comments. They used a specific checklist as the tool for documenting these documents, comments, and other formalities. So they take a preparation for the for the actual meeting, and sometime an overall meeting or general meeting is conducted, so which is not the actual review meeting but a overview meeting. So they first take part on that, they get the documents and they list out their comments and suggestion to improve the documents. And in case of this walkthrough, specialized professional generally do not do anything. So they do not prepare beforehand. They give their feedback instantly in the session itself. And in this session, that is during the meeting, the presenter reads a section of the document, sometime with an explanation. So sometimes they explain it properly, sometimes they briefly present, and the participants deliver their comments, maybe enlisted in case of inspection, or maybe in real time in case of walkthrough, for example. And the scribe, most of the time, the leader plays the role of a scribe. So he or she document each error identified during this discussion, during the meeting, mentioning severity and corrective action. And he also mention or record the severity of the error, whether this error is severe or not, whether it is required to correct or not. So the team leader or the scriber from these operations, and the leader make a session report based on the available template. So some existing template are there. So based on this, that the leader makes a session report. And what is done after the peer review session, after the meeting? So this is applicable for inspection only. As I already mentioned that walkthrough is very informal. So the post peer review activities are not applicable in case of walkthrough. So in inspection, the prompt effective correction and reworking of all errors by the designer, author and his team as performed by the inspection leader or other team member in the course of assigned follow-up activities. And the second activities is transmission of the inspection report to the internal corrective action board. Some internal corrective action board are there within the organization and within the project team for many time for analysis. So they analysis this report and they decide whether we should proceed or not, whether we should correct all these errors identified or specified by the reviewers or not. They decide on that, and this action initiates the corrective and preventive actions that will reduce future defects and improve productivity. So they based on the decision they go for the action. Now one question is for you: what are the basic difference between formal design review and peer review? Anyone? Hello, is there anyone? So what are the basic differences between formal design review or design review and this peer review? So
Yeah,
if
design
you
design review is document approval, and formal peer review is like detecting errors.
okay, that is one point, very good. Who is talking? Tell me your name.
Harshvardhan.
Harshavardhan. So yes, you have correctly identified one. Any other? Think about the team building. I'm giving you the hint. How the teams are different. If you notice or observe the term itself, one is peer review, another is formal review. So peer review are generally done by peers, colleagues. So these are generally the team members are generally from the project development team itself. Whereas in case of formal review, the teams are expert who are outside the project development team. Sometimes they are outside from the organization when the industry is of small scale. Means small software house, they may not have the expertise. Then they hire from the outside. So in this way, try to list out all these differences between this formal design review and peer review, which will help you to understand both the technique in a better way. Now another review is there called expert opinions. So this is generally prepared by outside experts, not from the organization, and they support quality evaluation by introducing additional capabilities to the internal review step. And organizations' internal quality assurance activities are thereby reinforced by preparing an expert judgment about the document or a code section, and by participating as a member of the internal design review, inspection, or walk walkthrough team. So from this we can now guess, or we can now conclude that sometime these expert opinions are already included in peer review technique and majorly in formal review technique. So expert opinion are there as well. When outside experts are required, outside experts are required when there is insufficient in-house professional capabilities or expertise in the specialized area. Suppose you are building a new type of software which you do not have sufficient primary knowledge. So for that you may have to hire expertise from that particular portion. Then temporary lack of in-house professionals. So sometimes, for example, your organization have the expertise, or some people are there who have this expertise, but they are not currently are there in your organization. Say for they are busy for other important task, or they have taken a leave. So in that case also the temporary lack of in-house professionals may be there. So in that case also the expert is hired from the outside. This is very obvious. And in indecisiveness causes caused by major diag- disagreement along the organization's senior professionals. Sometimes when they disagree, or they do not rely each other, or they have major disagreement, then also the expert are hired from outside the organization. And in small organization, as I mentioned before, where the number of suitable candidates for the review team is insufficient, uh, the lack of expertise is there in case of small organization. Then then and, and uh, even when there is some knowledgeable personnel, but maybe the number is not sufficient. For example, they have two experts, but for the team we require four experts. So in that case two additional experts are hired from outside the organization. So to summarize, we have now a brief idea about what is review definition, how review is defined, and what are the primary objective of this review. There we have found that some direct objective and indirect objectives are there. And what are the different type of reviews? We have mainly seen three types of reviews. One is formal design reviews, which is sometimes also termed as formal reviews, or design reviews, or which is acronyms as DR. And we have also seen peer reviews in details. So again, this peer review is peer reviews are of two type. One is inspection, another is walkthrough. So we have briefly known all this, and expert opinions are also there. So this is all about the review for the timing. So whatever the topic, whichever the topic I have covered today, is taken from this book, Software Quality Assurance from Theory to Implementation by Daniel Gallin, which is published by Pearson Education in 2004. And you will find this topic in chapter 8, section 8.1 to section 8.5, but I will recommend you to go through the entire chapter once to have a clearer idea. And if you face any difficulty, as I always tell you that if you face any difficulties, then talk to me, discuss with me, I will clarify those. So we have now completed the module 1. Next we will go for the module 2, and if you have, if you have any question you can ask.
No, sir.
Okay, then yeah, ask if you have any. No question?
No, sir.
If no question, that means either you are understanding the thing everything properly, or you are understanding nothing. So what is the case? First one or second one?
First one, sir.
Okay, that means I'm somehow able to teach you in an efficient way anyway. So if you have a doubt, you can ask always. Even if you do not want to ask uh, in real time, say you may think that okay, I'll revise this again, and if there is any doubt, then I'll ask. That is also welcome. You can ask question offline as well. So assuming there is no question today, let me finish today's lecture. So we'll meet tomorrow again. Thank you. Okay, let
Thank you,
me
sir.